So anyway, I woke up yesterday morning, and apparently the night before, the Donald's very first State of the Union address aired. You know, for the general public here in the United States of America, I do not watch it because, like I said, I do not watch TV. I did what I normally do yesterday morning when I wake up in the morning. I go online. I go to YouTube. YouTube is basically like that's my television right now because I don't do it the traditional way like I did when I was a child. Anyway, when I was a kid growing up and all that stuff. But anyway, so basically, I go to the Breakfast Club because that's my show right now. When Charlemagne the God was talking about, big ups to Charlemagne the God, he was talking about how, like, at the State of the Union address, there was a whole lot of clapping going on. After the Donald would say certain things, there was a whole lot of clapping going on. So I listened to the rest of the Breakfast Club, and I decided to find a video and watch the State of the Union address for myself. Now, do I agree with what Charlemagne the God said in regards to the State of the Union address? Absolutely. Basically, I got like 5 minutes in. Basically, the hardcore, in particular, the hardcore Donald supporters, they were giving him after every statement or every other statement he made, but for the most part, after every statement that he made, not only would he get a round of applause, but he would get a standing ovation. Now, look, let me tell you a little something about me. As far as music is concerned, I like a lot of music. I'm big on lyrical content. I like lyrical content. I listen to what people say. I pay attention to what people say. You know what I'm saying? So I think my hearing still works okay for the most part, okay? Real talk, the Donald ain't got bars like that. It's not like he was saying anything hot or brand new or something that we wouldn't expect him to say. No, he was saying all the crap that he wanted to say. You know what I'm saying? I think the points that he wanted to make, he did make, that he wanted to convey to the general public, he did. And what he did not want to talk about, which is a lot of things that most of us here in America would like for him to talk about and discuss, and not dilly-dally around. Of course, he wouldn't touch that at all. I swear. And the reason that I know this, the reason that I know that basically for the most part, the people there at the chamber, that were there in person, why they clapped basically after every statement that he made is because I took notes. Yes, writing is one of my personal hobbies also in addition to work, okay? I took notes. Basically, every minute, he got a standing ovation. Sometimes twice within 1 minute, he got a round of applause and a standing ovation from the hardcore Donald supporters. And like I said, he wasn't saying anything hot at all. Let's start with the positives. I'll give him props for actually, giving public recognition to, I don't want to say civil servant, basically folks here in America that have jobs where they work for the people, you know. There was a phrase that I wanted to bring up, and it escapes me right now. Like Coast Guard Petty Officer Miss Ashley Lepore, the firefighter David Dahlberg, Congressman Steve Scalise. I mean, that's something that everybody basically there that was in attendance in person could basically clap and give a standing ovation for. Okay, because for the most part, the stuff that Trumpito the God was saying, for the most part, he was basically, it's not even just public information. It's kind of public information based off public feelings and public emotions. It's like, yo, Donald, we've kind of been feeling this way for quite a while, Mr. Just showed up to the presidential party. We've kind of been on this for quite a while now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and the thing is, okay, it's only been 1 year, okay? In my opinion, from what I've been hearing, because I see things, I hear things. Based on his time here in office, his job now, basically, he lies to us all the time. He lies all the time to the American people. He lies all the times. He makes it rain dishonesty. All he does is lie. And when he gets caught, let's say he's being recorded and he doesn't realize that he's being recorded, and they say something crappy like, ish hoes countries and all that stuff, I was always taught when I was a kid growing up, that the United States of America is supposed to be the land of opportunity, land of the free, home of the brave. Okay, fine. But the way that this guy goes about things while he has this job right now, it's like he's discouraging people from coming here. It's like, okay, and he did a lot of talking about, people, for the most part, I gathered he did a lot of talking about people that are, that live in countries for the most part that are, Latino. You know what I'm saying? referring to them like as rapists and drug dealers and gang leaders and killers, gang members, killers, and this and that. And it's like, wow, wow. I'm like, this freaking guy. I'm like, that's why I be looking at people like, how are you not entertained by this guy? How doesn't he make you laugh? Because the stuff that comes out of his mouth, I'm like, wow, B, you are wow. Man, let me go over some of this crap. Of course, he hit his signature statements, the unemployment rate is the lowest that it's been recorded ever in the history of the United States of America. He loves to jump up and down on that like a pogo stick. What else did he say? The unemployment rate for African Americans here in America is the lowest that it's been in 45 years. The employment rate for Latinos is lower than it's ever been before. I say Latinos, he says Hispanic because he's a freaking spaz artist. Okay. What else did he talk about? Tax cuts reforms are the lowest they've been in history. The stock market's doing great. Lower tax rates, double standard deductions. All of this stuff. He was basically just saying. Everything that he said to me was pretty much generic. And it's like, what? It sounds good. It sounds good. No, I'm not going to get up and stand and clap for you every time that you say something. But it sounds good. Now, are you and your regime, are y'all actually going to actively take steps towards doing that to make that official? Are you really going to do that? Or is this something that you're saying? That's what I'm saying. I mean, dude, all he does is lie. And when you catch him saying something crazy or cray when he's being recorded, how does he respond? Oh, that was taken out of context. Word? That was taken out of context. I be seeing these shows, you know what I mean, where you have the people that are there, defending Trump, whether they work for his administration or not. They're either there defending the Donald or they're just speaking on his behalf, And they all say the same things. I don't know if you watch the news. The news has been very entertaining, interesting because of the Donald right now. I give him props for that. I have to. He's an entertaining dude, The people that are speaking on Trump's behalf, they're defending him on these news shows like CNN, whatever, they all say the same things. They all say the same things. They do their very best to evade direct questions, which I think a lot of people here in the general public in America would like to know. These are questions that we would like for the Donald to answer. And they evade the questions. They direct attention elsewhere. They start talking about something else. And, if you watch a lot of these news shows, the news anchors, a lot of them have been like, hey, whoa. They check them on it. Like, whoa. You're straight up not answering the question. You're responding, but you're not answering the question. And and if you do answer the question, you're not answering the question correctly, fam. Come on with that. Come on. What else did he say that got my attention? He wants there to be, he said there's going to be more take-home pay for workers beginning next month. Now, the State of the Union address, starring the Donald, aired on, that was on Tuesday, January the 30th. Today, right now, is Thursday. I could have did this yesterday, but I was doing other stuff. Like, I don't know, staring at a wall. Technically, today is next month. And of course, the Donald is very vague with everything that he talks about, all these promises and all the stuff he says he's going to do or whatever, which I don't care because, like I said, he lies about everything. And then he denies it when he gets caught. So it's like, okay, so next month, like Thursday, today, or next month, like Wednesday, February the 28th. I mean, come on, B. Can you be a little more specific? No, that's asking too much. Of course, you can't be a little more specific. Another one of his signature statements, of course, he had to start bashing President Obama again. That's one of his favorite catchphrases. One of the favorite parts of his dialogue. He always got to start crapping on stuff that Obama developed when he was in office that had nothing to do with the Donald. However, the Donald reminds me of one of my coworkers that, like, this is somebody that, something successful will happen, or, good job on something, or something good will happen. And he or she will take credit for it, knowing daggone well they are not the one that's responsible for it. They didn't do it. They didn't develop it. It wasn't their idea. They had nothing to do with the execution of this process. But since there's other people, especially in particular, maybe those in positions of authority, managers, whatever you want to say, since you got other people right there pointing the finger at you, talking about, hey, man, recognizing you, like, yeah, you did it. Congratulations. They just take the credit like they did it. Okay? There's a lot of policies and a lot of things that President Obama did when he was in office that just became active more recently. They're active now when they weren't, because he was just getting the process. He was just beginning the process. He was just getting the ball rolling back then. But now Obama's no longer in office. The Donald is in office, and he's talking like he's taking credit for this. Like, yeah, that was me. I did that. You didn't do that, and we know you didn't do that. How can't you laugh at this guy? A lot of people don't like him and this and that. I don't dislike him. He cracks me up, B. He cracks me up. What else did I take? I took notes on everything. I'm telling you. And I timed this. I wrote down the times. Okay? I swear. Every minute. He got a standing round of applause like every minute, to the point where I'm like, why do you even have seats in there for folks? Seriously. Physical health excluded. Why do you even have seats in there for folks, as much as the hardcore Donald fans give rounds of applauses and standing ovations after everything pretty much he says? And like I said, he's not saying anything special or groundbreaking. He's just, oh my goodness. He is an entertaining dude. In God we trust, blah, blah, blah. More opportunities for small businesses, financially, so that they can have the opportunity to, hire more employees. Exxon made a $50 billion investment in the United States of America. Okay, good for Exxon. In God we trust. Talking about the armed forces. I love the way when he was talking about groups like the armed forces, and he was talking about how, more judges were appointed, more than any other regime previous to this one in history, in our country's history. I love when he does that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love when he's talking about the groups like the armed forces and the judges. The armed forces, They were clapping for some of the stuff he said, but for the most part, and when the camera would swing on to them, they were just sitting there like, yeah, sure. For the most part, the hardcore Donald supporters were the only ones that was giving rounds of applauses and standing ovations to everything after everything that he said. Because for the most part, everyone else, for the most part, they were not doing that. They were not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Because anytime the camera went on to those folks, they all had the same look, the same body language, like Ninja, please, man. You know what I'm saying? Ninja, please. A lot of it sounded good, but a lot of it, it's nothing new. He didn't say anything new. He didn't say anything new whatsoever. All right, and of course he was talking about, when we stand up, we put our hearts over our chests, over our hearts. We put our hands over our hearts when we stand up to say the Pledge of Allegiance and the national anthem. I like the way that he put some extra bass in his voice for whatever reason, and he leaned in close to the mic when he said, and the national anthem. Come on, man. You're doing a lot, man. You're doing a lot. What else was he talking about? He was talking about a lot of stuff that is just like, okay. One of his quotes that he made, I had this quote was so convenient, I had to write it down. He says, this is our new American moment. There has never been a better time to start living the American dream. To every citizen, and when he said citizen, he meant every American citizen. Okay, like I said, he's making it sounded like he's going to make it more difficult. He wants to eliminate visas. Okay, he wants to eliminate visas. It sounds like he wants to make it more difficult for folks that were not born here in the United States of America. He wants to make it more difficult for them to come here to the country and obtain their citizenship. He was talking about chain migration. For the most part, nobody, your great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother and fathers, they were not born here in the United States of America. So you yourself, the Donald, you are also a product of chain migration due to your family's history, okay? I think I get where he was going with this, but it's like you're just making it difficult, okay? Everyone out there is not a criminal. Everyone out there is not an abomination to humanity. It's like, get out of here. He wants the government to invest more funding into the military, of course. He wants the nuclear arsenal that the American government currently has to grow, okay? He's talking about ISIS and blah, 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 all this other stuff I think I spoke about. Yeah, pretty much. God bless America, make America great again, blah, blah, blah. He didn't say anything special. I'm thinking about this like, if I was there in attendance, like every time after one of his statements, the hardcore Trump supporters, the hardcore Donald supporters got up and gave him a round of applause and a standing ovation, I would just be looking at them like, yo, really? Are y'all really going to do this? Are y'all really going to do this after everything that he says? After everything that he says, he's probably the first president The Donald's probably the first one that I saw him multiple times giving himself a round of applause after statements that he would make. He was clapping for himself. That's how much clapping was going on. I like the headline I read in the newspaper. What was it? The New York Times or Post or something like that. It said, "What a bunch of clap." Absolutely, it was a bunch of clap. There was way too much clapping going on. They should have had them cats just standing up. Why do y'all need seats? You're just going to stand up in a minute and give another round of applause and standing ovation. And there were times, I think like at the 30-minute mark, I feel like at the 30-minute mark, it seemed like the folks there live, it seemed like they were in person. It felt like they were getting a little tired of standing up every minute and giving him a standing ovation. That's your decision, not mine, so I can't necessarily put that on him. But there would be some times where the Donald would make a statement, and after the statement, if the applause didn't come right away, he would pause for a bit, and then they would give him a standing ovation. It's like, or if he would make a statement and they would clap, okay? And you got the Speaker of the House, over his left shoulder, and you got the Vice President over his right shoulder, okay? It's like he would make a statement and the people would clap. But then if the Speaker and the Vice President would stand up, then all of a sudden they would all stand up also and give him another standing ovation when he didn't say anything that was popping. Wow. I'm just like, wow. That's too bad. Really, I mean, I put the link in the description box below to the video that I watched, the video version of the State of the Union address that I watched, so you can look at it for yourself if you have not seen it yet. It was really nothing special. It really wasn't. He's an entertaining dude. My goodness. And that's really all I feel like talking about, so I'm going to holler at y'all, okay?